Today we're just going to get right into it as your favorite talking head does his best to review another television show. That's right, today we're reviewing the great Apple TV Hijack starring Idris Elba, which just finished, and you should be watching it now because I promise it's a delight. Hi, I'm your host, Chris Humphrey. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm just another talking guy on the internet trying to get my opinion across because I think you'll like it and because I want you to watch more movies, read more books, and watch more television shows and listen to more music. I want you to get involved and review the things you like. And this time it just happens to be Hijack, which, starting with my new format, I'm going to give you the score now and we're going to work backwards as to why I gave you that score. I'm going to give this show and this season, because apparently it's only season one, which is great for me, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10, and I'll tell you why. I probably disagree with a lot of reviewers, but the first instance is that it reminded me a hell of a lot like the series 24. I don't know if you ever watched it. Alicia Cuthbert, Kiefer Sutherland, two great Canadians, and a whole bunch of other actors that went on for a generation of a television show that lasted a lifetime and will go down as something. And this felt like as high impact as that show. The premise of the show is very simple. Everybody boards a plane, and then about halfway through the plane ride, about five people jump up and hijack the plane, and they have some ulterior motives. It's like any hijacking thing. That's the premise. But what you get is you get the smart, the handsome, and the sexy Idris Elba, who stands up and as one of the passengers, he starts helping them because he wants to get home safely. Or that's what you think he wants. Or that's what everybody on that plane thinks. That's the simplest way to give you a synopsis of that film. But what you get is you get the gravitas of an actor who's been acting for what now? I don't know, almost 30 years, I think, as old as I am. But I just remember seeing Idris Elba when I was in Germany. The Reaping came out. I saw it in Germany, and with Hilary Swank and David Morrissey. I know nobody liked that film, but I thought this actor was so good. When I got back to Toronto, I heard he was in a TV show as Stringer Bell, one of the best TV shows of all time, my personal favorite, The Wire. And I was like, wow, this actor is amazing. Why have I never seen him before? And then Luther, BBC's own, and I was like, wow, this was before I would stalk actors and things like that and go on IMDb. And I went, wow, this guy does a really good British accent. And then for a couple of years, I thought, wow, this actor's so good, he could do a British and an American accent. And then boom, wait a second, IMDb finally became my crutch. I was like, this guy's not American at all, but he's very talented, and he shows it in this uh, 7 episode TV show. And I was surprised that he A, wanted to do another TV show, and B, that he took this kind of role on, because it was a little different than what I'm used to. But when he starts acting and he starts doing his thing, you can't help but sit there and go, wow, holy shit, he's really good. Very talented. The best part of the show, in all uh, personal preference. He makes this whole show. The premise is very simple. You want to know what the hijackers are doing. You want to know what everybody else is doing, and you want to know why they're doing it. But really, you stay for Idris, and that's what makes the show. He's got more gravitas than Kiefer Sutherland. That's what I said. But it just high pace. Each episode ended on a cliffhanger, and you're like, you mother, I have to wait another week to watch the next episode. And then it finished with a ending that surprised the hell out of me, with a final episode where everything came full circle, and you're like, what the hell happened? And then that says it's the end of season one, and I'm like, oh, it makes sense because we have some things left unanswered, and yeah, we can get into a season two that could be off of a plane. I don't think you could call it hijack anymore. Would it be the aftermath of a hijack? I don't know, but there's lots of things unanswered, and that's probably where we'll come into a season two, or maybe how Idris Elba was on a train ride to West India, West India, the hell, maybe Pakistan. Maybe he's gonna do some work because he's a what is he, like a customer service consultant in the show. He's a talker. He's a negotiator, and then he does that, and then boom. Uh, Maybe this time the train gets hijacked on the way. Maybe that's how they could live it up. But we'll see where it goes down the line. Other great standouts. I think Padme from one of Canada's favorite shows that starred the great Christopher Plummer before he passed. She's fantastic in it. Very small role. A lot of the other roles are very small. If you're a fan of BBC television shows, you'll probably recognize half the cast. If you're not a fan of BBC television, you probably won't recognize anybody but Stringer Bell himself. But it's intense. It gets you thinking about what would you do if somebody hijacked your plane? Would you get involved and help them so you can be home safely, or will you fight to the death like some of the other ones try to do? And learning about different passengers is always cool, and that's what this show does well. What people aren't going to like is that it's very simple, uh, and then it comes out with complex things. But I felt it as high octane. I felt it like I said, 24. So I'm very biased. Maybe it's because I'm a huge fan of the actor Idris Elba, and maybe that's the big reason. But he just carries so much in his performance. Right, he talks a lot with his eyes and his face and his cheeks and his smile, and that's hard to do. It takes a lot of talent. As you can see, I'm praising this guy like I'm trying to sleep with them. Just don't tell my wife, eh? But go out there and watch it. Apple TV, please start watching these shows because I'm always afraid that they're going to cancel all of them all of a sudden because nobody's watching them. I know they got a lot of money, but in order to keep my favorite streaming site alive, I'll keep promoting it like crazy until you guys start watching it with me. But that's all the time I have. Please go out there and watch it. You know what I'm going to say, guys. If I don't see you again, good morning, good afternoon, and good night. Producer, play the theme song to Hijack, but I still can't because I can't afford Apple stuff.